How's it going, y'all? I wanted to get on here and brush over a couple subjects with y'all. Before I get started, I'd like to recognize the folks that are taking the time out of their day to go ahead and actually listen to what I have to say. I do greatly appreciate it. It does mean quite a bit to me. So to get started, I'd like to talk about a little bit about compassion. A lot of individuals in this world don't truly have compassion for one another. They are very preoccupied with their own agendas and are blinded by their own day-to-day tasks to the point that they look past what other people might have going on in their lives. They walk right past another person down the street and can't see the emotions on their face and see what's going on with them. And I'm not saying, every individual you walk by has got something traumatic going on in their lives, because I'm obviously grown up in the millennial generation, and shit, a lot of us wake up in the morning with traumatizing events happening to us just because we don't know how to handle basic things. So in turn, I think that's kind of childish and terrible for us as a human race, the fact that younger generations are going ahead and making such a big deal out of every little thing. But regardless, if you look at the individuals in this world that have true struggles and hardships going on in their lives, that have true traumatizing events that are weighing them down, a lot of people are walking past them and not reading what their body language says. Communication has three major points: body language, tone of voice, and then the actual words coming out your mouth. Now, body language counts or amounts to 60% of communication. That's quite a lot. That's the majority of it. And a lot of people can't even read basic body language because they choose not to. They choose to turn a blind eye, and it's very upsetting to see. So I strongly encourage a lot of individuals to start learning how to read somebody's face and read their emotions just based off their body language, going ahead and seeing if there's anything wrong. And who knows, one conversation could quite literally change their lives. I know I've had many conversations that have really changed my outlook on a lot of things, and it in turn has changed my life in a drastic way. Sorry for stuttering. Sorry. I think that going ahead and being more aware of your surroundings in turn makes you more conscious to what's going on with you personally. You are more in tune with who you are as an individual. And I think that's very vital to just being a human being in general, is being aware of who you truly are and what you want out of this life. A lot of people are wrapped up in the materialistic world, and so they're going throughout their day-to-day tasks. A lot of younger people go to high school. Once they're done with high school, they go ahead and say, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. That's because you don't truly know who you are as an individual. You've had so many things pushed down your throat and pushed in a certain direction that you don't even know what you want out of life because you have not taken the time to figure out who you are. A little story to kind of tell, going back to compassion and being able to read other individuals. The other day we had what is called PT, and when I was there doing PT, we were playing Ultimate Frisbee, and there's one individual in particular that quite literally has never played sports in his life, and it was made very apparent by other people kind of picking on him. And with that being said, and all these other people going ahead and making fun of him for putting out so hard, it shows that he had to overcompensate for the lack thereof sports played in the past. He felt the need to be accepted in one way or another because he had a lack of I guess, self-esteem, and for lack of better words. And he had to show us what he was made of because of what others were saying. You know, he couldn't just be content with what was going on in his life. And it's kind of sad to see that a lot of people are moved in a negative way by what others say. They think that going ahead and being told you're no good at this means you have to be great at it. You know, you suck at sports. You've never played sports before. So you have to put out extra hard just to be average. Well, if you suck at something, find something else that you're absolutely amazing at. I'm not a great artist by any means. I do love to draw, but I know I suck. So I found other things I'm great at. I'm pretty good at talking. I'm not the best at it, but I work on it. So I make these videos to try and work on my communicational skills and trying to reach others and trying to spread the word of my mindset. It's a difficult task, but I think that someday I can be great at it. So that's where I'm going with my life. And I've taken the time to realize that. It's not about impressing other individuals. It's not about showing the world what you're made of. It's about proving to yourself who you are and what you're made of. Pardon me again. I apologize. Got these notes written down and kind of lost track. I think a lot of people don't understand the true impact of what words do to others. The phrase abracadabra is obviously a phrase used in the world of magic, you know. I'm not really a big fan of magic, never really have been all too impressed by it, you know, that's just me personally. But the root of the phrase abracadabra is avracadabra, and what that means is I will create as I speak. And what that is saying, you know, is I will quite literally go ahead and paint you a picture with my words. That's why when you go ahead and say the word spelling, like, yeah, I'm going to go spell this out, people don't realize that spelling is the term used for writing something out, quite literally, because you're casting a spell. Words are composed of energy. The whole universe thrives on energy, little tiny vibrations that make up everything, that make up every little atom in this whole world, every cell that continues to grow. It's these vibrations and energy, right? And so with that being said, I think that, you know, the impact that words have on others are great. It has a great impact, a tremendous impact on what they do with their next step in life. I'm personally religious, so, you know, I do occasionally brush through the Bible because regardless of being religious or not, a lot of parts in the Bible has a lot of great advice. You know, if you're not religious, you don't have to look at it from a religious aspect. You just have to go ahead and read it like it's any other book giving you advice. One part in the Bible is Proverbs 27:17. My family all knows very well, before I even really became religious, that this has always been my favorite verse. It says, as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. The reason that has always been my favorite verse is because it's explaining our minds are sharpened by every interaction we have with another individual, whether we know it or not. We are gaining insight on one subject or another without knowing it, or with knowing it. I mean, it depends on how aware you are of the subject. So I think you need to start taking into account the words that you say, because like I said, you know, it can cast a spell. It's a transfer of energy, and that energy could be negative or positive, but let's go ahead and make that a positive energy, you know. To go on a different subject, man, I'm real sorry about that. getting over being a little bit sick. Um, People try to use logical reasoning to rationalize events that occur in their lives continuously, no matter what it be. Someone says they seen a UFO, and they describe it as being what we see in the movies because, maybe it was something similar to that, but in order to make sense of it and think in a logical manner, they have to rationalize it. So they have to connect it with something that they've seen before. Rationalizing things that we see is key to human survival. Basically, because it's in our nature to rationalize everything. Because if we don't have a rational explanation for what has happened and we can't connect it with a past memory, then it is unlogical and unexplainable. Therefore, it couldn't be. That's why a lot of people that don't believe in spirits or ghosts, like, oh, that's not true. That those things aren't real. That can't happen because they haven't seen it, so they can't connect it personally with anything that has happened to them in their lives. Therefore, it is not a rational statement that someone else has seen a ghost. That being said, though, becoming too rational about subjects or anything in general and trying to rationalize everything makes you complacent. And don't get me wrong, being complacent is fine and all, but depends on who you are as an individual and what you want out of your life, because complacency is what we want in our food. It's what we want in the animals we eat. We want them to be happy and complacent. That's why, happy cows produce the best milk, all that shit. That good nonsense. If you rationalize things and think about how complacent you are, it's kind of a joke to be complacent, because you're quite literally in a rut. You haven't hit any pivotal moment in your life to open your eyes. And it's a shame that there are so many complacent people in this world, because like I already described, that's what we want out of our food is complacency, because complacency kills. That's something we're taught out of boot camp. Complacency kills. I hate talking about, the military for the simple fact that, not every individual has been in the military nor will be, and so it doesn't necessarily need to be brought up, but through experiences in the military has brought me to a different conclusion of where my life is going. I can truly understand where I'm going and what I'm doing with my life. So with that being said, complacency kills. Think about it. Like I already described, we want our animals to be complacent so we can kill them. If you're complacent in your day-to-day tasks, you be walking down the street the same route every day, and you just get tunnel vision. You're sucked into routine. You start, forgetting certain things that have gone on in your life. Or, I just had someone the other day tell me that he's in such a routine that from the time he got into his truck and drove to work, he completely forgot about it. He just doesn't even remember that. He remembers turning on his truck, and he remembers handing his ID into the front gate. That is quite literally it. You get so sucked in to the tunnel vision and the routine that if something were to come out of the blue, someone were to come out and hit you or shoot you, you're going to die. That's where complacency actually kills. With that being said, being so complacent, you begin to lose your depth of personality and your true sense of individualism. And that's sad to see in a lot of people. I really don't like seeing people that are, the term is mainstream now, because they don't connect with people in a way that you should connect. They see a post or a meme on, social media that says, oh, it be like that sometimes. And they're like, yeah, it really does be like that. They don't realize, that's not meant for anyone in specific, but you connected on such a personal and emotional level with something that was meant for the mass majority that you were quite literally being brainwashed into thinking a certain way. You're losing your sense of individualism. That's really it for today. So I appreciate everyone, again, for taking the time out of your day to listen to this. Hopefully you continue to listen, and I really hope that I could open your eyes and teach you something. And if not, give me some feedback. Tell me what I need to talk about. Tell me what I need to say, to get others in tune with what I'm trying to explain. If I need to word things better because I'm not the best at wording things, please inform me of that, because I would really like some input on how I'm doing. Thank you again.